Imagine a young man in his 20s, messy hair, wrinkled t-shirt, cargo shorts, living in a luxury penthouse in the Bahamas with 9 other people, playing video games during investor meetings, sleeping 4 hours a night on a beanbag chair at the office, and controlling $32 billion of other people's money. This is the story of Sam Bankman-Fried, the man who convinced the entire world he was building the future of finance while secretly stealing everything in sight. Samuel Benjamin Bankman-Fried was born in 1992 in California. His parents were both professors at Stanford University. He grew up in a world of academic privilege and intellectual ambition. He studied physics at MIT. He was brilliant, socially awkward, intensely focused, and completely obsessed with one idea: making as much money as possible, not for luxury, not for status. He claimed it was for charity. He publicly subscribed to a philosophy called effective altruism, the idea that you should earn as much money as possible in order to give it all away to save the world. It was a beautiful story. And like everything about Sam Bankman-Fried, it was mostly fiction. After MIT, he went to work at a trading firm called Jane Street Capital. He learned the mechanics of financial markets fast, very fast. In 2017, he spotted an opportunity that would change everything. Bitcoin was trading at different prices in different countries. In Japan, Bitcoin costs significantly more than in the United States. If you could buy Bitcoin in America and sell it in Japan fast enough, you could make enormous profits with almost no risk. This strategy is called arbitrage. Sam Bankman-Fried executed it brilliantly. At its peak, his operation was moving $25 million per day, every single day. He was 25 years old. In 2019, he founded FTX, a cryptocurrency exchange where people could buy, sell, and trade digital assets. He marketed it brilliantly. Celebrity endorsements, Super Bowl commercials, naming rights to the Miami Heat Arena, FTX Arena, $35 million for that name alone. Tom Brady invested, Gisele Bündchen invested, Stephen Curry, Naomi Osaka, Larry David appeared in their advertisements. The message was clear. FTX was not just a crypto exchange, it was the future. And Sam Bankman-Fried was not just a CEO, he was a visionary, a philanthropist, a genius. Forbes called him the next Warren Buffett. At its peak, FTX was valued at $32 billion. Sam Bankman-Fried personally was worth an estimated $26 billion. He was 29 years old. He flew on private jets but dressed like a college student. He donated hundreds of millions to political campaigns, both Democratic and Republican. He testified before Congress about crypto regulation. He was invited to speak at the New York Times Deal Book Conference alongside world leaders. He was everywhere. He was trusted by everyone. And behind every single smile, every interview, every congressional testimony was a catastrophic lie. Here is what nobody knew. FTX and Alameda Research, Sam's separate trading firm, were not separate at all. Customer funds deposited into FTX were being secretly transferred to Alameda Research. Billions of dollars that customers believed were safely held in their accounts were being used by Sam Bankman-Fried to make risky bets in the crypto market, to buy luxury real estate in the Bahamas, to fund political donations, to pay for celebrity endorsements, to build an image of legitimacy that concealed the theft underneath. The auditor responsible for checking FTX's finances, a tiny firm in the metaverse, not a real building, a virtual office in a digital world, auditing $32 billion of customer funds. Nobody asked questions because the returns were extraordinary, and Sam Bankman-Fried seemed too brilliant, too idealistic, too publicly accountable to be a fraud. In November 2022, a journalist at CoinDesk published a leaked document. It showed that Alameda Research, Sam's trading firm, held massive amounts of FTT token. FTT was a token created by FTX itself. In other words, Sam's trading firm was holding enormous amounts of currency that Sam himself had invented. It was essentially collateral made of thin air. Changpeng Zhao, the CEO of rival exchange Binance, saw the document and announced publicly that Binance would sell all of its FTT holdings immediately. The market panicked. FTT crashed. Customers rushed to withdraw their funds from FTX. $6 billion in withdrawal requests in 72 hours. Sam Bankman-Fried had one option left. He called Changpeng Zhao and asked for a bailout. Binance agreed to look at FTX's books. They looked for less than 24 hours, then walked away. What they found was too catastrophic to fix. On November 11, 2022, FTX filed for bankruptcy. $8 billion in customer funds gone. The collapse was instant and total. FTX went from $32 billion in value to zero in 72 hours. Customers around the world who had trusted the platform with their savings logged in to find their accounts empty. A single mother in Ohio who had invested her entire emergency fund. A retired teacher in Florida who had put his pension into crypto through FTX. A young couple in the UK who had saved for 3 years for a house deposit. All gone overnight. Sam Bankman-Fried was in the Bahamas when FTX collapsed. He did not immediately flee. He gave interviews from his penthouse, surrounded by the luxury real estate purchased with stolen customer funds. He tweeted, he messaged journalists. He claimed it was a liquidity problem. He pretended he didn't understand what had happened. He was arrested in the Bahamas in December 2022, extradited to the United States, and unlike Dick Fuld, unlike Bernie Madoff, who operated for 40 years before anyone moved, the justice system moved fast. In November 2023, after a trial that gripped the entire financial world, Sam Bankman-Fried was found guilty on all 7 counts of fraud and conspiracy. In March 2024, he was sentenced to 25 years in federal prison. He is currently serving that sentence. He will not be released until he is in his 50s. His inner circle, the people who helped him run the fraud, cooperated with prosecutors. His co-founder and girlfriend, Caroline Ellison, testified against him. His closest colleagues described in detail how the scheme worked, how Sam directed the transfer of customer funds, how he knew exactly what was happening, how the charitable image, the messy hair, the beanbag chair, were all part of a carefully constructed performance designed to disarm suspicion. The effective altruist who wanted to save the world was simply stealing it. Here is what the Sam Bankman-Fried story reveals about the world we live in. He raised money from the most sophisticated venture capital firms in Silicon Valley: Sequoia Capital, SoftBank, Tiger Global, firms that manage hundreds of billions of dollars between them. None of them did adequate due diligence. Sequoia published a glowing profile of Sam, calling him a generation-defining genius. They invested $214 million. They lost every cent. The celebrities who endorsed FTX, Brady, Curry, Osaka, are facing lawsuits from customers who claim the endorsements misled them. The politicians who received his donations on both sides quietly returned the money when the scandal broke. And the regulators, the SEC, the CFTC, the banking regulators. FTX operated for 3 years in plain sight, sponsoring arenas, advertising during the Super Bowl, testifying before Congress. And not one regulator caught what a single leaked spreadsheet revealed in 24 hours. Sam Bankman-Fried believed he was too smart to be caught. He was wrong. But the system that allowed him to operate, the celebrity culture, the venture capital frenzy, the regulatory blindness, the media worship of young tech billionaires, that system is still running. And somewhere out there right now, another brilliant, charming, casually dressed young person is building the next FTX, and everyone is lining up to give them money. Subscribe to Luxury Vision Official right now, because the next story on this channel is even darker than this one. At Luxury Vision Official, we go where the mainstream financial press refuses to go. Hit the notification bell, because the truth about who really controls the global economy is something they hope you never find out. Before you leave, if this story made you feel something, anger, shock, or simply the need to know more, you are not alone. Every week at Luxury Vision Official, we go deeper into the stories that the financial world hopes you will never find. The men behind the crashes, the fortunes built on lies, the systems designed to protect the powerful and destroy everyone else. Luxury Vision Official exists for one reason: to show you what's really happening behind the glass towers and the tailored suits. Subscribe to Luxury Vision Official right now. Hit the notification bell, because the next story is even darker than this one.